Welcome to the Spoilers of the Damned podcast. Spoilers of the Damned podcast. Hello and welcome to Spoilers of the Damned podcast offshoot, Twin Peaks Season 3, where we are talking in our 5th episode today about Episode 8. Now,
it's not confusing.
It's not confusing at all, and thanks to the listeners, please feel free to get in touch and comment either on SoundCloud or on YouTube about what you thought of the episode and whether you found any of our waffle based around the episode entertaining. But we've had a fair few listeners, Matt. We've had 12 people on the last podcast for Twin Peaks and 35 listens this week, which is, I think that's an all-time high.
Yes. Tell your friends. It's an order.
Tell at least one friend.
Yeah, at least. I'm not asking, I'm telling. Do it.
Also, please feel free to actually get in touch. If you want to say hello, maybe we'll read your name out on the podcast. So, yeah. Now, we just watched a couple of days ago episode number 8, which I feel will definitely go down in infamy. It's not a bad episode, but it's certainly there are people at the start of this season who were complaining about it not being Twin Peaks or schmaltzy kind of quirky Twin Peaks. I feel that with this episode, those people will now stop watching, so it will kind of shake off everyone who felt like that at day 1. At day 8, they're going to be thinking, "Wow."
Yeah, just a tad.
How did you give me your overall sort of like basic impression?
Oh fuck! It was I think it was probably the strangest hour of television I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do. I think that's fair, definitely, because aside from the fact that I'm amazed that it's being televised, so I don't know if obviously I have no behind the scenes knowledge, but this episode in particular made me think that if there was ever an episode that was suggested and that's what caused that rift between Lynch and Showtime, it was this episode. And they basically went, "No, you can't do that."
You can't what? You want to what?
And so everybody, goes, "Oh no, we need Lynch back." And Lynch is like, "Yes, now I get full creative control.
Now I have the power."
But I can just imagine reading this script. I mean, the script must be like 2 pages long, and the episode is 50 odd minutes. So, wow. We will get into a plot synopsis.
Try.
Yeah, this will be the first time I've read the Wikipedia plot synopsis for this episode, so it might actually, you never know, clear some things up.
Right.
So what we'll just kind of shoot through, and then we can talk theories and sort of just try to process as a group, sort of therapy, roughly what happened and where we're going to go from here.
We'll try.
So the episode opens with Ray and Mr. C, and of course Mr. C knows that Ray is trying to kind of, I guess, rat him out or have him killed, or he's double crossing him. Yeah. So they're driving up the road, which took quite a while, and I was sat there thinking, okay, slow opening.
Yeah, that was really strange. Well, not the strangest thing.
Are you sure? So anyway, they have a kind of a showdown where obviously Ray has tricked Mr. C and swapped the guns or the bullets so that it's an empty gun.
Yes.
And here's where things begin to become a bit strange. Ray shoots Mr. C, and then we have an entrance from what most people are referring to as the woodsman. So a kind of a collective of strange, burnt, kind of like hobo-looking guys.
Things.
Yeah, we've seen at least one of these characters before. Based on some things I read on the subreddit, I'm not sure if the character in, I guess it was episode 2, you know, the one in the prison whose head kind of floated away.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's the same. That's the same character who also appears in the morgue when the military investigator is investigating where what's his name?
Garland Briggs.
Yeah, Garland Briggs' body is. I'm not sure if they're the two same kind of characters or if they're just similar characters in this kind of collective of woodsmen. But yeah, so woodsmen appear. They kind of seem to do some kind of ritualistic birthing or recovering.
It looks like they're I read it was worded a certain way. I can't remember where. I think it was Rolling Stone's review or it might have been The Guardian. And they said it's like they're exercising Bob and taking him out of Mr. C.
It's kind of a recovery, isn't it? Because I mean, based on things later in the episode, they the Black Lodge or Black Lodge spirits or Bob become kind of closely associated with those woodsmen. So it appears that they're very much kind of product of the Black Lodge as opposed to the White Lodge. So yeah, it seems to me that they're kind of saving Bob from death, but then I'm not quite sure how that works because, well, as we saw, Mr. C got back up again.
Exactly. So I'm not sure.
Yeah. You're going to hear that a lot, folks.
Yeah.
Wikipedia has the beautiful sentence, ghostly men tear at his body, revealing a sack with Bob's face. So yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Essentially.
Yeah, I don't understand what people's deals are.
I don't know why they're confused. Yeah, Ray is justifiably terrified.
Yes.
And is at one moment just screaming in terror and then running away. And honestly, I can't really say I blamed him.
Yes, and he telephoned someone, and you caught this the first time through, but I didn't. I needed to read up on it and find out. He's talking to Jeffries.
Yes.
I can't actually remember what it is he said now, but it's something along the lines of "I've killed him" or "It's done" or something along those lines.
And then he says that he might still be alive. He's not sure.
Yeah, which, to be fair, is a fairly accurate assessment.
Yeah, I think it's fair. After I saw that, I'd be like, I don't know, but I got out. So.
And of course, sometime later, once Ray has disappeared, Mr. C awakens, and then we cut to the Bang Bang Bar.
Yes, Roadhouse with
which the 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, that was strange. I thought it was a bit. I'm not sure unfair is really the word for it, but it seemed a bit strange that because obviously we've had like most of the music has like the bands have been playing at the Roadhouse and they've been shown on camera, which is fine. I did find it that maybe unfair is the right word, that 9 Inch Nails aren't a band that need any help being recognised.
Yeah.
They didn't need an introduction. I'm pretty sure if anyone most people that are into Twin Peaks will know who 9 Inch Nails are.
I would say they're arguably the most famous band that's appeared at the Roadhouse to date.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Whereas a lot of these other groups are kind of up and coming or they're less known than 9 Inch Nails. I thought it was a bit strange that it's like, yeah, he's my buddy Trent Reznor.
It was a bit weird, but I loved the sort of just the kooky weirdness of saying the 9 Inch Nails. Yeah, even in the credits, they're attributed as the 9 Inch Nails.
The 9 Inch Nails. No, David, it's the 9 Inch Nails. Oh, yes, David, it's the 9 Inch Nails. That's what we're called now.
Yeah, but indirectly it's worked because it kind of, I was listening to it, and although I wasn't up on that song or their new stuff, it kind of made me go, oh yeah, actually I like 9 Inch Nails, and because it's payday I bought a couple of CDs.
the older stuff's really good. The more recent stuff's a bit hit and miss.
It looks to be, especially this one, a bit more experimental. So.
Yeah, a lot more experimental. Wearing his sunglasses indoors.
Very cool.
He wears sunglasses at night.
Yeah, and it reminded me of all the old kind of 9 Inch Nails jokes. Because I went on YouTube and started watching videos, and people were like, "Oh, Severus Snape's got a really cool band." It's like, I remember when that meme was young.
Oh, true. I will say one thing. you know, I like Nine Inch Nails. Like I said, their new stuff is a bit hit and miss, but I didn't mind the song. But one thing that made me extremely happy and saw a sigh of relief from me was that he's not going to act.
Yes, that made me reassess quite a few of the other names in that cast list.
Yeah.
If he's accrediting the musicians as actual sort of cast members, then that would explain a lot of the musicians that we did see in there. Unfortunately, I mean, I did think it would be cool if they kind of had little bit parts where they just walked on and said, you know, a couple words, and they were throwaway characters. But at the same time, you're right. For some of the more prominent or strange ones, it does rule out kind of them being allowed near a character they could ruin or.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a couple of strange theories that are people going like, "Oh, do you think they're going to recast Philip Jeffries as him?" Like, it's fucking stupid. But you know, as we know, there are stupid fan theories abound anyway.
Well, actually, yesterday I was listening to some Nine Inch Nails songs. And I was showing my wife that that song "Hurt." You know, that it was a Nine Inch Nails song before Johnny Cash's famous version, arguably more famous version.
Yes.
And so I showed her the Hurt video because it's a really good example of an artist who kind of knows he's about to die and is kind of like a farewell or a swan song video.
Yeah.
And that then made me, you know, sort of make the link and show her the video for Lazarus, the David Bowie one.
Oh, yeah.
So part of me is just still wishing, praying, hoping that he managed to perform some kind of performance for the you know, the return.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe they'll just have they might have stock footage like they've done with Bob so far. It's just been
yeah. I mean, they could get around it either way, and you know, whatever comes, I'm sure it'll be fine. But because his character's been mentioned a few times already, because he was still. It's awful to speak this way, but he was still alive at the time, and he was still performing and creating work. You know, part of me just hopes it. I can't think of many characters that you know, the corresponding fame level of their actors that would mean that they would be hidden on the list, apart from very key characters. And I think also if David Bowie came back, so I'm really I've got my fingers crossed.
Yeah, maybe that because they did manage to, and they just kept it quiet. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Only time will tell. I mean, fingers crossed. It would be nice, but maybe we'll just see, like I said, stock footage like we have with Bob, and like Major Briggs, because we did have that one moment with Major Briggs. So maybe it will just be like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if it is like that at the end, you know, it's still going to be fine. So
yeah, I mean, it'll still be.
It's just a tiny part of me still hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And when we, obviously, getting back to the Roadhouse, when we cut there, I sort of almost started laughing because I thought, oh, we're 10 minutes in and you're cutting to the Roadhouse. Funny.
Troll. That's
Little did I know. So, if we're all done with the Roadhouse, we may as well move on to the meat of the episode.
And then it gets really strange.
Yes. So we cut to one of the atomic bomb tests. I'm presuming it's the first one.
It's the Manhattan Project. Yeah,
it's the Manhattan Project.
One.
So in New Mexico, they're detonating the atomic bomb, which splits the atom, and it's kind of, I guess, the inference that we're supposed to take from the episode is that during this kind of explosion of raw energy and power, which again is kind of symbolic of mankind kind of destructive streak in the fact that, you know, we engineered such a weapon as the atomic bomb, that something like Bob was birthed in that. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, it's very, obviously it's very loose in terms of explaining things, but it's hard to tell whether the Black Lodge has always been an entity, or if in that moment it had always been an entity in our world or our dimension, and whether this kind of just opened a doorway or whether this kind of let the Black Lodge in. It's very interesting. I think we're going to be talking about this for a long time, maybe even after the series is finished.
There's a very high chance that's the case. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, because obviously after because the explosion goes on for a really long time. It's a really wonderful piece of music, and I can't remember it's not by Angelo Badalamenti. It's by a Polish Polish songwriter, I think, who wrote it after it's basically about the bombing of Hiroshima.
Okay, so that's really fitting in terms of tone.
And it's a really, really unsettling piece as well, and it really kind of it helps enforce the absolute terror of nuclear weaponry, because it's still absolutely terrifying.
I saw. Sorry, just to cut in, but I saw a really interesting thread on the subreddit yesterday. There was basically someone who's younger than me, who even I didn't really grow up in the Cold War. The Cold War was sort of pretty much finishing or just over by the time I sort of reached consciousness, so to speak. But this person was younger than I am, and they said, I think David Lynch managed to impress upon me the complete fear, the abject terror of nuclear war.
Yeah.
And, as someone who completely was divorced from it, who's never really experienced that kind of paranoia, he said, last night I got a real sense of it. So I think they got that across really, really well.
Yeah, it's horrifying. It's a good. It's just a really well framed shot as well, because it just allows you to see the entire, just the decimation and destruction it leaves behind. Because obviously everyone focuses on the big mushroom cloud, but it obviously had all the. It was just really handled really well. You could see the shockwaves, and you could just see as the destruction just spreading out. And it just reminds you of how frightening and scary this stuff is. But it goes on for a while, and that's not a bad thing. It goes on for a while, and then it goes into the explosion, and it keeps repeating, and then there's more there every time it repeats.
Yeah.
And we do see something regurgitate what it's Bob. But I think. Because I think the Black Lodge has always been there. This was just something that allowed them to cross over, like you said, because it then cuts to the giant, or question mark, as he's known as.
Yes.
In this, in a room, he enters a room where there's another woman sat there.
And this is all taking place in some kind of fabulous Art Deco palace by the sea,
really
in black and white land.
Well, I realised as well. It's the building that Coop ended up in once he fell through once he appeared in the glass box and then disappeared again.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's the same building, because he looks out and you can just see that endless ocean.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I think that might be the White Lodge. I'm not sure, but
yeah, it's kind of hinted that it is in terms of the benevolence of the giant and what they seem to be doing.
Yeah, much happier as well. And it looked like there was a couple of those bell-like structures. I think that Coop saw when he was down. He was in that when he went to that strange little on top of the box, and the woman had to turn it off, and then she gets electrocuted and flies off, which was weird. Early on, episode 2, I think it might have been episode 3. So I think it's always been that maybe this is something that caused something to go wrong, and potentially I could be talking out my ass. I don't know, because who knows? But I think that it's something that's always been there, but this has started. Maybe this kicked off something a bit more evil, because my aunt brought up a really good point when we were talking about it yesterday at work, and because early on way back when in season 2, just after they discover that Bob is inhabiting Leland.
Yeah.
And Bob forces Leland to kill himself, which is fucking horrifying. I still struggle to watch it when Leland starts to realise what he's done, and it all hits him, and it's just really hard.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about it afterwards, and I think it's Albert just says Bob is the evil that men do.
Yes, yeah, I've seen this phrase bandied about in the past couple of days, based around that kind of the idea of being birthed in the bomb, which was such a destructive force, engineered by man. So,
yeah, exactly. And then we've got the woodsman, who we still don't know who, when they came from. We don't know. Who fucking knows?
It's a good question.
Yeah, but we do see them again. I mean, obviously, I'm getting a bit ahead of it, but so we saw the White Lodge, and the giant very slowly walks out into almost like a stage, like a cinema, isn't it? Really, it's got like a screen, and then he starts to float.
Yeah,
but he's not even when it comes back, because he's kind of laying down prone, but like even then he's not like completely horizontal. He's still kind of like slightly at an angle.
He's kind of leaned backwards.
Yeah, it's
everyone's doing that Negan lean.
Yeah, they are. It's I tell you, Negan's everywhere. And he like I think something starts to come from him. I think it's like a golden cloud, isn't it? And then because we see an orb, which I think we've seen golden-like things previously, and it's when the other woman grabs hold of it, it has the picture of Laura Palmer in it, or the face of Laura Palmer in it. She kisses it, and then it puts it into that weird little brass machine, and it goes into the screen down to Earth.
Yep. Presumably sending it towards Earth to be born, or
I don't know.
Yeah, and
Yes.
just for clarification, to cover it in complete detail, that act seems to be a kind of a retaliation for the orb that is birthed. It's from a kind of people are calling it the mother, but it's a kind of a it's kind of like a being with a mouth. That kind of spews forth. My wife said they look like potatoes. She said like Bob's in an evil potato.
It does look like an evil potato, you're right.
I
did notice one thing about the thing that spews Bob forth is that looks pretty much. I'm pretty certain it's the thing from the glass box.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Interesting.
Yeah. So that makes it all kinds of.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Also the kind of the connection to a convenience store as well.
Yes.
The fact that it was hard to tell exactly where that was happening, but the store seemed to be involved, and there was obviously lots of smoke in the woodsman as well. So yeah, my head is swimming.
It's strange. I love it.
Yeah, and anyway, well, once they send Laura Palmer down to Earth, and we don't know exactly when or where that is, we cut to 10 years or so after the bomb exploded, still in New Mexico, where a creature hatches from an egg, and it's presumably this egg that was birthed in the bomb, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's still Bob, isn't it? Except now he's... see some interesting names for this. We called him a frocust because he looked like a frog and a locust, but many people are calling him a frog roach.
A frog roach. Oh, that's got a good. That's got a good ring to it, actually.
It is. It's got a good ring to it.
Frog roach. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I sent you that picture as well because someone coined the term that Bob was birthed in the bomb, so it's like BOBomb from Mario. That's why I sent you a picture of a BOBomb, by the way, just for clarification.
And now I can think of his Dennis Hopper just saying BOBomb. So I can get it's stuck in my head now. BOBomb. Oh god.
Bob's the bomb.
He's the BOBomb.
And another kind of note that people might have missed that we may as well say at the same time now is the lady who kisses the orb and then sends it off. That character has a name. She's credited in the credits as Senorita Dido.
Senorita.
Yes, which is interesting because the whole thing has got a kind of like an Art Deco kind of almost Cinco de Mayo kind of like not necessarily just Mexican but kind of like South American kind of Los Angeles tinge to everything. It's very kind of like old cinema. Does that make sense? Like golden age of cinema.
No, yeah, that works. That makes sense.
So, yeah. Getting back to the frog roach. He goes for a little walk, little hop around.
Little stumble around.
Yeah, we cut to a very strange character who essentially, seems to be another one of these woodsmen, but has clearly shown much more kind of articulateness than the others.
Yeah, because I think it's we see three of them for certain, because we see three of them on the road, don't we?
Yeah.
When that couple, smartly, as we will see later, very smartly drives away. Got a light.
That is the new meme of this episode, definitely, is got a light.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so they literally descend very, again, we've said it before about the effects, very strangely, descend from the sky. And then just start walking towards somewhere, which we find out where it is later, but Yeah, it was good to see more of them again. I mean, they're just something inherently creepy about them anyway, because they are. It's it is lit black as black, it's charcoal black.
Yeah.
And all you can see, obviously looking back at those the whites in his eyes.
They do really stand out.
And obviously with his the cigarette as well, kind of adds more to it. We should also mention actually that the basically 3/4 of this episode is shot in black and white.
Yes, pretty much. I think is all of the kind of flashback stuff is.
Yeah.
Apart from the actual explosion inside the inside the explosion.
Yeah, that had colour, and the gold, the golden clouds and all that stuff. Yeah, and strange enough, the brass machinery in the cinema screen or the screening room, what do you call that?
Yeah, there's kind of tinges of colour. Yeah,
which was really nice. But the rest of it is just complete and total black and white, and it really reminded me of Razorhead.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying that. I still need to see that movie because I think it would. That's also supposed to be quite surreal in similar way to this episode.
It's really weird. it's very obviously it's early Lynch, but it's still very. It's you still see elements of his work now where it's just even he makes even the more mundane things seem very unsettling. Like just sitting around a dinner table is just weird.
I saw a lovely anecdote about David Lynch. He said that this was when he was working on something. I can't remember what it was, but he was in England. And this was fairly early on-ish in his career. I think it was sort of the 80s. And he was talking to someone who had spent the previous evening with Stanley Kubrick or something. And Stanley Kubrick had put on a film for them and said, "This is my favourite film," and shown it to all of them. And it was a Razorhead. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And apparently David was really chuffed.
Yeah, that's
kind of Kubrick was a kind of a big influence on him and things like that. So.
Yeah, that's some praise. That's for him that must be absolutely huge.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
I know. I have to go find that anecdote later and
definitely
put it in the show notes.
Because that would be that's really cool.
I know.
It's a
so yeah, I do
Razorhead.
need to watch a Razorhead.
It's my movie.
By the way, got a shout out to Gordon Cole for basically twice now sitting in front of a massive picture of the atomic bomb.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point actually.
It's a hint, see?
I put it in there earlier. Foreshadowing.
And now the 9-inch nail.
I like Trent Reznor. He's my friend. Oh god, he should have been the one to introduce him.
Yeah, should have. Well, yeah.
It would make no sense, but fuck it, do it.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, didn't stop the rest of the episode. So we cut from that scene to this sweet little kind of girl and boy who are on a date, so to speak.
Yeah, and you knew something was gonna go wrong.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be the boy actually, not the girl, but
yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to exactly what happens after their date's finished, but between then the end of their date and going to sleep, that man that we mentioned enters into a radio station.
Yeah, and this is when it starts to get surprisingly violent very quickly.
Yeah, I'm just going to look up what that guy is saying because it seems very important.
I've got it here.
Oh, excellent! Please read it.
But
something about the water in the well.
Yes.
I remember that.
So what he does first is he enters the radio station, and it seems that whenever he looks at someone, it seems they're transfixed and they're frozen with fear and they can't move. And he approaches the receptionist, and just very carefully puts his left or his right hand on her forehead, or on top of her head, while he's still asking, "Got a light?" And then you hear it's a very, very, very kind of disgusting crunching sound, and he proceeds to crush her skull.
Yeah.
You hear it, and then you see the after effects with her, where you see the blood coming down. It gets when you really see it, is he then enters the disc jockey's room, like the DJ's room, and does the same thing to him. And once he finishes reciting the words I'm going to say in a moment, you actually see him crush the back of his skull, and it's Oh no, he doesn't crush it. It's like he's pulls his fingers out of it, doesn't he? It's like he's driven his fingers into it.
That guy seemed to get the raw end of the stick because
Yeah.
the lady in the room previously, it was over in a few seconds.
Yeah, and then it's like he goes on for quite a while, but he turns the microphone back on in the booth, and we see that there's at least 3 people listening to the station, and then he starts to repeat the words. He says, "This is the water, and this is the well. Drink full and descend. The horse is the white of the eyes and dark within." And he just repeats it again and again. And I can't do it justice because they've put like an effect on his voice anyway that's kind of very strange and otherworldly.
Yeah.
And he just repeats it. I lost count how many times he was saying it.
Yeah.
And every person listening eventually would lose consciousness. They'd just fall asleep.
It clearly has some kind of hypnotic power. Whether it's specifically those words or the kind of the effect that the woodsman can have, but yeah.
And we see the little girl is one of the people listening to the station, and she falls asleep. And as soon as she fell asleep, I knew something was wrong. I was like, oh dear, this isn't good. Because we just saw the
second
other
I
two
saw the frog
collapse.
roach jump up to her window, I knew something was going to go wrong.
Yeah. So, do you want to take it from here?
Well, I mean, there's not much left to say other than the creature enters the girl's room and proceeds to climb into her mouth and down her throat.
Yeah, but what really got me was...
Even while I say that, my wife is pulling all kinds of faces and going...
The effect was really cool. Oh,
The effect was
leg was
cool.
dangling. Its leg was like kind of like scrabbling around, dangling. But what I found interesting is that as it approaches her mouth opens. It doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't do it, and then once it's finished, it's gone far enough. She automatically just swallows.
She
it.
swallows. Yeah. I
So-
thought that too.
I mean, is there only one? Because obviously we only see the one hatch, but 3, multiple characters or multiple people do fall unconscious. So that does raise the question. And if so, what the fuck is it?
Yeah.
Is that Bob? Is Bob the frog roach?
If Bob is the frog roach, and every time I say that, my wife cringes. Frog roach.
Frog roach.
It's really... It's like really succinct, catchy phrase, though.
Frog roach.
If that is Bob, then what we're kind of witnessing is the first kind of ingestion or kind of like control of Bob or backseating of Bob inside someone.
Yes.
And it'll be interesting if we do discover how exactly that kind of leads to Twin Peaks.
It'd be very, very interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's not. It probably is.
Because I'm imagining if well, this is a lot of kind of leaning out on a limb here, but if Bob has been unleashed on the world to cause mayhem or chaos, and he naturally moves towards Twin Peaks because Laura Palmer is in Twin Peaks or comes from Twin Peaks. Even kind of, I don't know if he has foreknowledge of her arrival or not, or maybe they can kind of sense energy. And that might be the reason why he makes his way to there, because it's kind of like they're clearly linked in some way, kind of like two sides of a coin or a scale. So we got some answers this week. I think we got answers that we were not expecting to get to questions we haven't even really asked, and we also got a lot more questions.
So
because I wasn't ever I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting what essentially kind of boils down to it's very kind of derogatory to say it this way, but I don't mean it in a derogatory fashion. It's essentially a Bob origin, sort of explaining roughly how he kind of came to appear in our world and what have you. So it's very interesting. I think it's also very interesting that we are almost halfway through the return, because this kind of, although they kind of wrote the whole thing as an 18-hour movie, and a lot of the kind of cut points appear to be kind of arbitrary based on roughly running time, and they kind of, I think they probably wrote the scenes, put the scenes together, and then decided, oh, okay, an episode is roughly here, an episode is roughly here.
Yeah.
I feel like this, especially with, did you manage to confirm whether it's off the air next week?
I did look, and it looks like part.
I was
part
hearing
9.
that there was going to be a week or two break.
It says here. Let's see. original air date. June 25th for this one, obviously. Part 9, July 9th. So yeah,
so that is
a week.
2 weeks from the last episode.
Because obviously it's the 4th of July this weekend in America. So.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense.
On Tuesday. It's 4th of July on Tuesday, but I know they have lots of festivities and
especially at the weekend before or after. Yeah,
which makes sense.
It makes sense, but it's kind of I obviously we were talking last week about the importance of not looking into every single thing Lynch ever does and espousing meaning to it. Some things just happen because they just happen, and it's fortuitous sometimes. Maybe sometimes there isn't in kind of like an underlining meaning, but overall some things happen just because they happen. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the fact that the season is almost halfway through and we kind of get a pause here is intentional, but I think that certainly there was breathing room needed after the episode we just had, and it does seem to kind of line up with a halfway point. So I think in that regard this pause is kind of good, because a lot of people kind of need to take in exactly what they saw and work through it.
Yes.
And this is kind of like communal therapy, where we all kind of hash out what it means in the wait for a new episode.
We try to.
So yeah, if you're listening to this, please tell us what you think happened, whether you think any of this kind of like is accurate or not, because it would be interesting to see other people's takes, because especially with this season I've noticed more so than other shows, say for instance Westworld. I don't know if you've watched the first season of Westworld.
I haven't got around to it yet, but I do intend to watch it eventually, because I've heard
I do
really,
recommend
really
it. It's
things.
very good quality, and it kind of got annoying, but at the same time it was very fun to be up on it every week, so that when people watched it, all these very smart people, much smarter than me, were coming up with these theories, and quite a few of them came true. I think with a show like that, there is more of kind of even though there is ambiguity, there's more clear-cut kind of version of events and things that actually happened. With this season especially, it seems like there is so much happening, and a lot of it is very open-ended, and we're not sure exactly how it's going to tie up, even if it does tie up.
It might not.
Exactly, and that kind of leads to a lot more broader speculation. So I'm kind of enjoying the fact that there are so many different takes and so many things that people see in it because of what they bring to the show, as much as Lynch brings to the show. But yeah, there is also there's some way out shit, as we discussed last week. So it's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. It's two sides
insane.
of the same coin.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I am loving the fact that we can kind of discuss it as it's happening.
Yeah, it's good. It's a strange thing having to wait each week, or in this case like 2 weeks, but each week to watch another episode of Twin Peaks, because obviously I never had that growing up, because by the time I knew what it was, it already finished, because it finished in like 91, the film was 92, so I was only like 4 or 5 then. So
I think me and my wife might watch Firewalk with me again. Well, for me again, for her first time, just in this gap, so that I think a lot more of it, I can take in a lot more of it this time, knowing roughly what I know from season 3, and see if there are any kind of other clues or factoids in there that kind of resonate with what's happening at the moment in season 3.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well, because there's a scene above the convenience store with the arm and Bob, and there's 2 woodsmen there.
Yeah.
So one of them played by Jürgen Prochnow with a hilarious fake beard, but yes, there's lots of little things as well.
Yeah, I mean it's clear that they I think some of this season is probably a mixture of things that they had ideas for at the time, in terms of what season 3 would have been if it had carried on during the original airtime, but also kind of, I think they've had a lot of time to reflect on, the sort of... I know that Mark Frost has written that lovely book that I will get hold of someday, with all that additional information. So it seems like they've had plenty of time to world build and to have all this stuff kind of fit together. Yeah,
which is really cool. It is cool. They had a... Because, I I just thought it was like some kind of secret history or whatever it is, but I wasn't expecting it to actually have lots of bearings on what we would actually see. Well, not lots of bearings, but a fair amount of bearings on what we'd be seeing in this season.
Nearly every episode I see a thread on the subreddit of someone who's mentioning something from the book. So it does seem like the book is a real kind of like companion piece to the season, to the show as a whole, and to this season. There are kind of little bits that get filled in by that book if you're aware of them. So
no, okay.
Gotta crack out that book.
Get that book.
Yeah, I'll have a pop online, see how much it is.
It shouldn't be too much. I mean, it's worth it just for the even if the book is a piece of crap, which I don't know yet, but it's worth it just for the really beautifully made hardcover. It's a really nice hardback book, really nice. Looks very nice.
Oh man, it's payday.
It's payday soon. Get the book. That'll make sense. It won't make sense. But yeah, it's a beautiful book to look at, and I just getting time to read it. So much shit going on.
Yeah.
So much stuff going on. So much. So, but yeah, I mean, any other thoughts on the episode?
Not much. I mean, I think it's very bold.
It's very bold television.
Yeah, very bold television. I think it's very interesting that Twin Peaks at the time was such a kind of like a cultural phenomena, and it had an impact because it was doing things differently. It was doing television in a cinematic way, which wasn't happening at the time. It was all these other things, and I feel like today, Twin Peaks, 25 years later, is still on the air. Kind of, what's the word? Challenging convention, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like last night's episode, or the most recent episode, was a kind of the strongest example we've had of that so far. To think that we were worried about 3-minute long sweep scenes last week. I will say that this felt very kind of timeless. I didn't notice the time going so much. Because it was almost hypnotic and mesmerizing, those shots from inside the atomic explosion.
Oh yeah, it was beautifully shot, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so we're kind of careening through it and barreling around, and like you said, that kind of like that especially haunting music and the noise and everything else. It was just I'm still it's just basically a combination of being floored a little bit, that because I think this is an important thing to do, is to watch things that challenge you sometimes, and it's very easy to fall into the pattern of being so kind of used to things that explain everything that the second you're thrown into an example of a television show or a film that doesn't do that, you feel uncomfortable and you feel angry with it and annoyed with it. And I can kind of see people who get annoyed with it because there is not a lot of answers at the moment. It is challenging you. It is making you think and feel different things you might not have felt before, or it's just simply in the act of, not having a lot of dialogue, being, however minutes long, and only having essentially kind of 2 scenes with dialogue. These are things that people are not used to, and as such, I think it's kind of shakes some people the wrong way, and I can understand that.
It's not a show for everyone. It really isn't.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I don't think I wouldn't recommend Twin Peaks to anybody that I wouldn't have recommended it to beforehand. But I definitely think there are some people who, if Twin Peaks had stayed its 2 seasons and finished, they would be happier than if it had continued. I'm not one of those people. I think I'm very happy that we're getting new material, David Lynch material, full stop.
Oh, definitely.
But I think there are some people who would have been happier if it had just stayed the way it was, and that's fine, and I totally understand that. But I think even though last night was challenging, I'm still one of those people who is along for the ride. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's. I don't expect it to. I don't expect everything to be explained, because that's just not really Lynch's way. But there's enough there for for certain for a varying degree of theories, from the more level-headed ones to the far out ones. Let's call them the ludicrous ones.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, there's still enough that's sort of explained.
Yeah.
That keeps you engaged. Because if it was just really, if every episode was like this week's one, I'm not saying I wouldn't like it, because it's mental, so I would like it. But it's more a case of, if it was like that every single week, then it'd be less memorable, because obviously it's been strange since it came back. It has been strange, but we haven't had anything like that. And it's like I said, it's the strangest hour of television I've ever watched. And if everything else didn't have stuff grounded like in a semblance of reality, then that wouldn't be as impactful as it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I also think that this will have less impact for people who shotgun the series after it's finished.
Yeah.
Sort of binge watch.
Yes,
I think
definitely.
it will still have that kind of intended pause that we're feeling right now, but I don't think it will be as pronounced as it is watching week to week.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast because you're shotgunning the episodes, we have to wait. Yeah, well, fair enough. No, they might be not caught up with the series until after it's aired, but you suck. I think it will be. You've got to remember that we're watching it live, so we get to sit and speculate for a whole week between these episodes.
Yeah.
And,
so
maybe 2 weeks now.
The wait is real.
It is, and the fact that we are almost halfway through is kind of sad. I'm one of those people who, if it's a weekend, I'm very happy Friday evening, and then I spend all of Saturday and half of Sunday lamenting the fact that the weekend is only so long.
Yeah, I do that.
So
to Sunday, and you're like, I haven't done enough.
So I think with Twin Peaks as well, the fact that it's already almost halfway, I'm sitting here thinking, it's almost over. But by the time we get to episode, I don't know, 15 or 16, I'm going to be still thinking, I'm so sad it's over, but I'm also going to be on the edge of my seat going, how is this going to finish? So, which stays true to the analogy, because by Sunday evening, about 7 o'clock Sunday evening, I'm thinking, yes, I'm invincible, this night will last forever.
I've got so much time left. 10 o'clock. I should go to bed.
Yeah, I should go to bed, but I'm not going to.
No. I'm the I'm the ruler of my own life, my own destiny. Oh no, I've got to get up for work.
Monday morning alarm clock. Oh boy. Yeah.
Like, oh no, I need money.
Well, I do if I'm going to afford all those nice books. So, exactly. I also saw those Funko Pop figures. Not the ones that are actual proper Funko Pops, the ones that are kind of like little mini figurines, like the old Star Wars ones. Have you seen those?
Oh, yes.
I was in a Forbidden Planet, and I saw the box, and I really wanted to, but they were £36.
Oh, that's too much.
I think at the moment, someone on the subreddit said that it's actually cheaper to buy it from American Amazon and import it than it is to buy it in a UK shop.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ridiculous. Because, they look nice, but they're only a novelty. I wouldn't want to pay 35 quid for something like that.
Well, you see these people with huge walls of Funko Pops, and that's fair enough. But I'm not a fan of the way Funko Pops look for some reason.
They're too generic.
They are very generic, and the whole point is, that means you can release 10,000 with different kind of features and what have you. But
just paint them different.
Well, I understand. I'm a collector of stuff, so I do collect some things. I've got a huge collection of PlayStation 2 games, Xbox games, things like that in storage. But I know I'm never going to be able to collect all of the PlayStation 2 games in the world. Well, but I could. But with the Funko Pops, it seems like literally there's 1,000 every month that get released for every TV series, film series, game series.
I was crap.
Yeah, I was at the Harry Potter experience, the studio tour last Friday, which is totally not related to Twin Peaks, but
it could be.
There's a special edition Hogwarts Express you can get to put your Funko Pops in. Like they can kind of sit in the top, like it's like the driver's cab of the train. And I stood there looking at it, and it was something like £30 or £40. And I thought, anyone who buys that is not going to open that box.
No.
And I was
That's the
like,
thing,
what's the
people that
point?
collect them. Yeah, you see the people that collect them, and they just have them sat on their shelves in the fucking
I've seen
boxes.
walls of them. Yeah, walls of them. Like, literally, they put them up against the wall, up to from floor to ceiling.
Yeah.
And yeah, because all those PS2 games, all those Xbox games I've got in my shed, they're all open pretty much, and they all will be opened and played. I've got a few things sealed, but the reason why I haven't unsealed them yet is just because I will get round to them, and when I do, half of them, the sealed ones I do have, are for, the YouTube show that I want to do. So part of the joke will be that I had this gag planned. I might still do it, even though I'm saying it on the podcast, but I had this gag planned where, like, I've got, for instance, Michigan Road to Hell. Do you know that game?
No.
Oh, it's one of those strange games. I want to say it's either Suda or Sweary. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of those weird games. It's basically you're a cameraman, and like this kind of apocalypse is happening.
Oh, wait. What's it called again?
Michigan Road to Hell.
Michigan Road. Yes. It looked. Yes. And it's got like
It's bizarre as fuck, and it's apparently it's got a tentacle scene, which is not.
Yeah, it's got loads of it's like multiple endings.
Yeah, it's very kind of like it's linear, but with lots of kind of like branching offshoots of endings.
Yeah, I remember watching a Let's Play of it years ago.
Yeah.
And they showed the all the different endings, and it just looks absolutely out of its mind. It looks great.
It's a bit batshit, yeah. I've intentionally stayed away from as much information about the game as possible, because I want to be kind of fresh when I get to it. But the one I've got of that is sealed, so I was kind of planning this gag where you see me like at the start of the episode saying, "Oh, people shouldn't keep things sealed. You should open them and use them." I open Michigan Road to Hell and play it, and like after the first couple of like shots of like this weird ass shit, like it cuts back to me, and I'm like trying to put it back in the cellophane.
just sellotaping it back up.
Yeah,
No,
it's like, it's
something
still good,
should remain.
Mint condition.
It's mint. It should stay where it is. It's weird.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about games. It's like, they should be opened. You should play them.
Yeah, you should. It's like it's like that game was designed to be used. It was designed to be played.
Exactly. And I mean, occasionally, if you own something digital, and especially if it's one of those remasters or something, fair enough. If you only play that version and you keep the kind of game as a box just to have as part of your collection, but it's still kind of like a viable product. Yeah. Like those Funko Pop things. Other than building walls, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with them.
You can paste over them. It's great. Oh no,
boy.
I just keep doing the the voice.
Yes, there's been a couple that have things I really love have come out with Funko Pops, and I've thought maybe I could just get this set, but then I think no.
They take up too much space.
Yeah, my brother's, I don't know how many he's got, but he's got 3. He's got the 3 singers from Baby Metal. Now, if you're going to get some Funko Pops, at least get some, like a set that's only got like 2 or 3 characters in it. Like that's the bare minimum, because then I think, well, if you're only going to have like 3 Funko Pops ever, and they're all this one set, then fine. But if everything coming out, where do you draw a line?
Yeah.
But that's nothing to do with Twin Peaks. So.
But no, wait. But they have released some Funko Pops of Twin Peaks.
Yes, which is how we got on the subject in the first place. So I mean, I want to say when they come down in price, I'll get some, but I don't think they'll ever come down in price.
Yeah, not the ones that look like action figures from like the 70s. Those ones.
Yeah, they remind me of those kind of like Star Wars ones, the kind of the original figures because of the size they are.
And they're very simplistic. They did, I don't know if it's the same company, but there was like a run of, they did like Alien figures as well, which was really cool.
Right, cool.
They were the same thing, but it's just like, yeah, it's a nice little novelty thing, but it's too expensive, fuck off.
Well, it is, and I'd want to take them out of the box and actually have them like sort of on the shelf. Exactly. And then I think, well, I've just taken £36 and turned it into, I don't know, 10 at best.
Yeah, that's what it was worth. I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah. I have got the only figures I've got, because they release 1 million figures for The Walking Dead. Now, I'm really into The Walking Dead. Again, this is nothing to do with Twin Peaks. I feel like I have to say that. But they were releasing like, I don't know, like 5-inch figures, and then they were releasing like 6-inch figures, and then they were releasing 7.5-inch figures. So basically, they came out with these 10 inches. Right now, 10 inches. For me, that's a proper action figure.
Yeah, that's a big display.
So
yeah, posable.
And they're McFarlane's, so they don't release 10 inches often. So I've managed to pick up every 10 inch that they've released so far, because they've, I think, 1, 2, 3, I think 4. It's Daryl, Rick, Michonne, and Glenn, and they're releasing a Negan, but the Negan is, I don't think it is 10 inch. I think it's something like 12 inch or something. It's like 1/6 real scale. I was like, should I get it? But then it won't go with my 10 inches. So now, if they released a 10-inch Dale Cooper,
then we'd be talking.
I've bought it already. It's pre-ordered.
It's a damn fine figure.
But for those little things, 36 is just too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Give me a more reasonable price and we'll talk.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like 15, maybe 20 tops, it would be fine. And if you're buying them online, I think there's something like $18, and then the export is something like $5. The shipping is $5. So I guess if you don't get stung by customs, which sometimes they like to do, I think you're paying about $23, $25, which I guess is about £20-21. So that would be the max. But even then, that's for just a couple of little dinky figures. The box is nice, but even the box is kind of like cardboard with just cellophane. It's not like indestructible.
You're just paying for you're paying for not the label so much, but it's like the novelty, almost.
You're paying to keep Funko Pop towers
so you can build your own house, because the housing market's fucked in this country.
Yeah, I can't wait for the BOBomb to tip out of the Funko Pop market, and suddenly they are in Poundland for 10p at
I can't wait to tell my
children or whatever. Then you can buy enough and build a house.
Tell my children. Well, you see, Timmy, back when I was your age, we used to create and build houses out of bricks and mortar and lots of other things. But now we use Funko Pop boxes because we realise the figures are just a piece of shit and completely worthless, really. So we just use them to create houses. That's why people keep dying, because they keep falling apart. It's like, I gotta open them, and then
Yeah, and the only way to get them to stick together is to cry real tears at the pain you're inflicting on your wallet by buying Funko Pops.
You just got like a super nerd, and you have them like on a crane just over it, and you in front of them you've got like a fully autographed, never before opened Han Solo figure, and you just slowly start to peel it open, and you don't peel it like gently, you just like tear the cardboard, because that would drive me crazy anyway. But it's because it'd be breaking something. But yeah, just watch the tears. Yeah, and that's how.
I'm just imagining this person on a crane made out of Funko Pops. I can't.
The
everything is made out of Funko Pops.
Clothing's Funko Pops as well. It's got a Funko Pop tattoo.
You know what? I think we've said Funko Pops enough times. Send us some fucking Funko Pops Twin
Funko
Peaks
Pops,
figures.
Thank
you, please.
Send us.
We'll actually take everything back. We have no morals. If you send it to me, this £36 set, I will give you at least 36 mentions.
Oh, hello Funko Pop. Yeah, just guys, Funko Pop's really good, and it's a considerably decent product at a decent price. Buy Funko Pops, it's good. Just give me all the money. Just give me the money.
I would be a lot like Dale Dougie Cooper. They're just like, they walk in and they go, Funko Pops are great, and I go, are great.
Funko Pop, give 2 words.
You should buy Funko Pops.
Funko Pop, give money. Funko Pop, good.
Squeeze their wallet.
Squeeze the money. My money wallet. My wallet hand. I think they're talking of Funko Pops.
I think our brains are broken.
Crazy. I can picture those horrible, soulless black eyes. Fucking Mr. C has solid black eyes, and he's got more soul than those fucking figures. With their boring expression.
But if anyone is listening to me, I know well, no one is listening to me.
What?
But not even you, man.
Why am I here?
But if someone who's making some kind of figure gets the rights somehow to make some kind of proper figures, I'd be all over that. You know, the boxes would be amazing. You'd have like the Black Lodge, like with the stripy floor in there.
Awesome.
Oh, it'd be
But that won't
so
happen
good.
because we've got Funko Pops instead. But it's right, because the Laura
Oh,
Palmer
boy.
one actually has like white eyes, so they did something slightly different. They actually this time painted the eyes as well. So
I've seen some people who make custom ones. I think if you've got the skill to buy a shit one and turn it into like a custom one for your like own character or something, then fair enough.
when they customize it like to make it a better figure, do they like smash it with a hammer first and then just put the pieces back together again? I hate them.
I hope so. Yeah, they're kind of every time now when someone says the word Funko Pop, what I think of is Red Letter Media.
Oh my god, yeah.
Nerd Crew podcast
I
episodes.
clapped. Personally, I loved it.
For anyone who hasn't seen them, the Red Letter Media YouTube channel has got a show called The Nerd Crew, which is their kind of satire of geek culture, specifically when it comes to online media and YouTube podcasts, things like that. And I do recommend them. They're very funny. People
speculate that they're making fun of a specific group of people as well. I can't remember who it is, but I think they just take the piss out of everyone. I mean, there was that episode of.
They might well be, but the satire works so well, like compared to everybody. Like loads of YouTubers who have like brand deals or things like that.
Oh, that
Loot Crate,
yeah, but
all that
it's
kind
like
of shit.
They're always like tongue-in-cheek winded people. Like there was that episode of Review when they were talking about the original Ghostbusters, because they didn't like the new Ghostbusters because it was shit and it had I thought it was shit anyway, and I agreed with them. And it had no fucking bearing on the fact the cast was female. Jesus Christ, that's my favourite rebuttal whenever from people, and they go, "Oh, you just didn't like it because it was all female cast." I'm like, yeah, I don't like films that have got a female lead. That's why one of my favourite movies of all time is Alien and Aliens, which has a very strong female character, and that's why Mad Max Fury Road was like my favourite movie of the year a couple of years ago. But thank you for trying.
I've seen their Science Man Explains
the
Ghostbusters.
Terminator Genesis one's very good as well.
Fun.
They're talking about Ghostbusters, and then I think Rich Evans is talking in a specific way, and Mike Stoklasser just says, "Oh, Rich, you're not one of those dickheads on YouTube." And he goes, "Oh, which dickhead do you mean?" It shows like 3 famous YouTubers. It showed Jeremy Johns, Chris Stuckman, and someone else, and everyone was like, "Oh, are they having a pop?" It's like, no, they're just taking the piss. They always fucking say that. And people did get.
Yeah, I like Jeremy Johns, but I don't like Chris Stuckman and the other one.
One of them jokingly unsubscribed from them and then resubscribed to them, which was quite funny. So one of them posted in the comment section, and it was on the top rated ones, and he just said, "Well, this is awkward." People, so they make fun of people all the time, and I think a lot of it's probably tongue in cheek. They make fun of their own fans, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
Well, have you seen the one that went up this week, Mr. Plinkett's last night?
Well, I'm not going to do it. Bye. Oh, people are so angry.
I clicked on that. I was completely and utterly trolled by that episode. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a 50-minute long episode, which sort of supposes to be the new Mr. Plinkett review of the new Transformers movie, except after about 20 seconds it cuts to black and it's just transforming noises.
Well, that's the third one.
50 minutes. I didn't sit there for 50 minutes.
Oh, I kept skipping.
But I certainly skipped through, and I was very disappointed because I was like, I was expecting a 50-minute Plinkett review.
And I was like, oh, good time. But the thing is, I knew it was going to be a joke video the second it went up, because that's the third one they've done this week. It's the first, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, I haven't caught the other ones yet, but I saw someone say, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me 3 times, I'll subscribe.
Yeah, then they did a half in the bag, which I won't spoil anything for you, because they're fun in their own ways. What's very entertaining, all the people complain and whine about it in the comment section. They're kind of missing the point as well. The point is the movie's not trying short, so why should they? Why should they bother? And you know what? We don't need another person going, this Transformers is a piece of shit, because we know Transformers is a piece of shit by this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got caught by it, and the most I thought in my head was just like slow golf
it's
clap.
really what it is. It's just, and it's still funny because you still get a bit of Plinkett, so it's everything works in the end.
Yeah. Alrighty, we are so far off Twin Peaks that we,
it's almost like we've been blown off track.
Yeah.
So this is why Chris does that, because he's good at that.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, and Chris, we miss you, by the way. Hopefully, you're listening to these in 2050 from your like super nice, I don't know, folding space yacht.
Still haven't watched it.
Where you've just you well, no, that'd be so weird if you waits that long to listen to this podcast, but doesn't watch the season. But yeah, I'm hoping that he will be watching these episodes at some point in the future and listening to us.
Hi,
and
Chris.
If you are, hello, Chris, we miss you. We'll be seeing you for a podcast pretty much the same day Twin Peaks comes out.
And if you are listening to this in the future, Chris, I'm sorry about that whole knife attack thing. It was a misunderstanding. It's fine. I thought you were someone else.
It does happen.
I predicted my own future.
This is
just true. Oh god. Oh no, the worst time to do it.
Time acts differently.
Just come back. This one covered in blood.
So join us next week for our review of the last episode of the season.
I've already seen it. It's terrible.
I've come back to warn you.
No, I have to watch it. Oh my god. Ow.
Oh man.
Plaster on the hand.
Okay. You're practicing with that knife already. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining us. We've made the hour. We can stop now. I'm going to go play with my Funko Pops and cry.
He made fun of you. You're still precious to me.
I'm actually just projecting. I love you guys.
Picture you is just you've got a wall of Funko Pops just like everyone has, and your wife's just gonna walk in with you, just like kind of like lean on them, just sobbing. He'll never understand. She walks in.
It's the only way to affix them.
Shakes her head, sighs, and just walks back out again. It's like fucking Funko Pops.
Yeah, no. If this is the future and you're listening to this and you see me with any kind of Funko Pop and they haven't given us a brand deal, smack me upside the head.
But not me. I'm cool. I'm the cool one.
Yeah, don't do it to Matt. He's got a knife.
That's what caused the incident. Oh no! It all makes so much sense now.
It does. Okay, we're gonna go. Thanks for watching, guys, and watching. Oh god, yeah, my brain is just frizzled.
They're always watching. You never know.
Well, incidentally, I was thinking maybe we could do a video podcast at some point.
Wait, they already have seen my face. Yeah, I'd be down with that. That'd be cool. I could I'd be happy with a live stream at some point. Actually, I could live stream it.
Yeah, that would be cool. If you are watching, for fuck's sake, if you're listening to this, why don't you tell us, that you're listening and say hi and tell us if you'd like to see
we could live stream a terrible horror movie in the public domain and make fun of it.
Maybe a film like Galaxy of Terror.
That would be funny. That awkward moment when we watch it and we actually enjoy it. Oh shit, it's good. Yeah, it'd be good.
I'm looking forward to it, yeah. Alrighty, well, that will be our mainline cast in a couple of weeks, actually. So, in the meantime, please make sure to get in touch on the socials and say hello. Enjoy the podcast, and don't forget to listen to not only our past episodes of Twin Peaks, but also our past main cast episodes, where we're joined by the delightful king of segways, Chris, and we talk about horror movies and games and things like that. So check us out.
Do it now.
And until next time, see you soon.
Gotta lie.
Gotta lie. Gotta lie. Gotta lie. If you like Spoilers of the Damned, don't forget to subscribe and rate us on iTunes. a Team Wolfcat production.